Welcome to Everyday Reviews. The hunt for the ultimate e-scooter for myself continues on. Now this is an unsponsored video, however, the great folks at Urban Makina have been supplying me these great scooters to really test out to see which one I'm actually going to buy. This video is not subject to any approval and the opinions are mine. However, if you are interested in this scooter or any of the e-scooters or e-bikes that they carry, I'm going to leave an affiliate link in the video description. And if you buy from that link, it does help the channel out, doesn't cost you anything extra. Anyways, back to the review. A while ago, we tested the big granddaddy, the big kahuna of e-scooters, and that was the Evolv Corsa. That thing was a beast. You know, it was huge. It had a massive deck, a removable battery, big huge display, 11-inch tires, hydraulic brakes, and a top speed of almost 50 miles per hour. However, one caveat with that is it wasn't light and it wasn't small. It came in at 100 pounds, meaning that you pretty well needed like two people to load it into a vehicle. And speaking of vehicle, unless you had a large truck, or a pickup truck, or a hatch with folding seats, it wouldn't fit in the back of a regular trunk. And that's one thing that it kind of, I really need that box checked off. I want an e-scooter that has a lot of performance, but I really want to be able to fit in a regular trunk. So that brings us to this. This is the Evolv Tour XL Plus. Now the Plus just means it has a larger battery. All the XLs come with LG batteries, so a name brand battery, which is a good thing. We'll get to that when we go for a ride. And it comes with a 15 amp hour battery. The Plus comes with an 18.2 amp hour battery, so a little bit bigger. It's going to cost you a little bit more. This weighs in at 50 pounds. It's only 2.5 pounds more for the larger battery, so 50 pounds. It's easy to actually go and move this. So I can just pick this up just like that. So 50 pounds. However, this thing is really portable. So you have a latch here, down here, and it's as easy as folding it down, just like that. I'm just gonna put this back up just to show you one more thing. Snap. All right, is that this stem is adjustable. Having it adjustable allows you to adjust it for different size riders and maybe even different age. So if you want only one e-scooter for the entire family to use, this is probably the one to get, because for my kids, I can go lower. I can also set a lower speed for them. And also, if you want, you can actually get a seat for this. So with the seat, you want a lower handlebar position. So there is a mark here for the maximum height as well. And these handlebars also fold down. So that actually goes and makes it into a smaller package, a smaller footprint to store or put it in your car. But when you're ready to ride it, when you flip it back up, it's as easy as this. That's it. And surprisingly, I was kind of a little bit leery about, having these folding handlebars. Is it going to introduce a lot of play? And it's pretty well non-existent, which is really good. I don't know, in the course of time, after you've folded it many times, you might get a little bit more play. And same goes with the stem, and we'll talk about that when we take it for a ride. Onto the deck here, you have a nice anti-slip grip tape here, and it has the silhouette of Vancouver, British Columbia, where this is designed. You have a 21.5-inch deck with LED light tubes on either side. So these will light up, and also they will blink for the brake light. You do have a tail light in the rear and a headlight in the front. Now, when you use the brakes, this tail light does not light up. It's only on the sides. And you also have lights on the front of the deck along with the charging port there. You get 10-inch air-filled tires on this Tour XL, and I've been looking at a couple other scooters, and they have 8.5-inch, and the advantage of the 10-inch over the 8.5-inch, or the larger the tire, you know, basically it absorbs a lot of the bumps better than the smaller tire. That's pretty obvious. Also, it's easier to regulate the air pressure in a larger tire because you have more volume in it. Also, to take out some of those bumps, you have spring suspension for the rear and the front. Just be aware, the front suspension, we'll see here, it does move, but the travel is quite minimal. It's not going to soak up everything, but it will take the harshness out of some of the bigger bumps. Brake-wise, this is equipped with mechanical disc brakes, not hydraulic. That's one thing that I may consider. If I buy this one, I might actually splurge and put some hydraulic disc brakes on here. This is fine for most people. I'm just a little bit fussier. I like the power of hydraulic discs as well as just how linear they are. These do stop absolutely fine though. This also has an electronic brake and we're gonna talk about that in a second. So let's gear up and go for a ride. All right, let's go for a ride. We have 3 levels. I like level 3. A little push. We have a trigger here for your index finger for the accelerator. And off we go here. We are hitting or over 40 kilometers per hour right now. So top speed on this is rated at 45 kilometers an hour. And it's pretty easy to hit as long as you are on level ground. On a little bit of a downhill or with a tailwind, I was able to get 48 kilometers an hour on this Tour XL Plus. So range-wise, it's going to be around 40 to 50 kilometers of range on here. Now that's still going to depend on how fast you're going and how many hills that you are climbing, for instance, and how much you weigh. I was on one run where I was basically pinned for about 5 kilometers, just top speed the entire time. And I did see that battery go down fairly quick. However, once I slowed down, you can see the battery level actually comes back up. So under load, it's going to show a lower capacity. So speaking of capacity, this will operate up to 265 pounds for a rider, and it's a decent amount. I was able to even go and put one of my daughters, actually they like to take turns on riding this with me, and so we were getting close to the max capacity at that, and we could still go up hills. It was a little bit harder though, and I'm sure it's not super easy on the motor if you're at top weight capacity and you're going up hills at the same time. If you're a heavier rider at the top of the capacity and you're doing a lot of hills, I would probably recommend going for something probably with the dual motor setup, especially for the hills. It just might be a little bit easier. However, if you go to a dual motor setup, you're going to use more battery. That's just life. So we are going downhill right now. Now let's talk about the brakes now. We have the mechanical disc brakes. There's a little bit of a squeak to them, but they do stop you very, very quick. As I mentioned, I think I would splurge though and buy some aftermarket hydraulic disc brakes for here. I just like a little bit more power for my braking and a little bit more of a linear action. Now, when you get this scooter, it defaults with an e-brake. So you can control and change different settings in your controller here. You can change how hard it hits for acceleration, and you can change your e-brake setting. And I would highly recommend that you go into that menu and you just deselect that e-brake entirely. The reason being is because when you have it selected, I thought there was something wrong when I first started riding this. When you hit the brake, you get your normal friction brakes that you can feel and you can predict, and then all of a sudden you get this little extra braking that happens afterwards, and that's the e-brake, and it's just a very unnatural feeling, I must say. We are going up a hill now. This is you know what, on video, hills never ever really show how steep they are. This is a fairly steep hill. As you can see, someone coming down on a bicycle. They are braking right now. And when I'm riding up here with my bike, it's not the easiest ride up here. I'm usually in first gear and just like panting away. But we are doing 33 kilometers an hour uphill. And I gotta say, this compared to the big Evolv Corsa that I was riding a while back, the biggest difference is I've ridden this one so much more for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's just so much more portable. And second of all, it's just so maneuverable. You know, you can actually lift the front end up with ease. See on these bumps here? No problem. You can do a little bit of a wheelie, as you can see. So really, really easy. And I really enjoy the difference in size and weight. So this one is 50 pounds, as I mentioned, so it's half the weight. And I think anything lighter than this, you're going to kind of compromise with stability, because the weight does add stability on here, as well as the suspension does help. Perfect for my weight. I'm about 190 pounds. And I mentioned that front end doesn't really have a lot of travel, but the benefit of that is at higher speeds, some of the scooters that have the larger suspension in the front can get a little more unstable at higher speeds, and that is not the case at high speeds here. If we max it out around 45 to even up to 50 kilometers an hour, this thing is stable. As well, I'm really impressed with the actual handlebars and the stem. I totally thought with this real quick folding mechanism, the stem would have a lot of stem wobble, and there is a little bit of front and back play, which really doesn't really affect anything. And these handlebars are so solid for folding handlebars. Really, really good. Very, very happy with those, completely happy. I really have to say that I am enjoying this Evolv Tour XL Plus a lot more than I was expecting to. It has a really good balance of power, range. It's just so handy, and I can't wait to actually decide which one I'm going to get for my scooter, because I'm kind of getting hooked on scooters right now. And with the cost of fuel nowadays, it's just a no-brainer to use a personal mobility scooter to get around. Have a look at the size of the deck. Once again, I was able to put one of my daughters on here. We can actually double up, but I can even go, let's say, side by side, no issue. And forward to back. There we go. I have size 10 feet, by the way. And as I mentioned, if you want somewhere to rest your rear foot like the kick plate, you can put that handle, that optional handle, on the back of it as well. On big bumps or manhole covers, it's just so easy to just lift that front end right up. Couldn't do that with that larger Evolv Corsa for sure. I have noticed though, you definitely get a little bit more oomph out of the scooter when the battery is freshly charged, so it's nice and full, compared to when it's running down. So top speed is a little bit lower as well. And that is why I would recommend getting the larger battery, so you can just stay in that top end longer. But it all depends on what type of riding you're gonna do. Final thoughts on this Evolv Tour XL Plus. Well, it's my own money that I'm going to be using to buy one of these, and I'm telling you right now, so far, this is the Goldilocks of the e-scooters for what I'm looking for. So, it's not the fastest, but it's not the slowest. It's right in the middle there. 45 kilometers an hour isn't anything to sneeze at. It is portable, but it's not too light. and it's definitely not on the super heavy side like the Corsa, so that ticks the box for me. I like the disc brakes. I like everything about it. The range is really good, and yeah. Would I like more speed? Absolutely. I'm kind of a speed freak. That's why the next couple ones, I want to test the dual motors out. So Evolv has a new one coming out called the Terra. It has dual 600 watt motors. And also I want to test out one from a company called VSET. And it's the VSET 9 Plus, and that has twin 650 watt motors. However, that one only comes with 8.5-inch wheels or tires, where this one has a 10-inch, and I'm a big fan of these 10-inch air tires. So that may actually win me over. And once again, when I try those, of course, they're gonna have more power, and I would recommend those dual motor ones if you're on the heavier side, or if your commute or your riding involves more inclines and more hills. That's gonna help you pull yourself up a lot easier than a single motor. However, you are going to use more battery power, as we mentioned. I'm also going to throw in a review of a smaller scooter than this even, because hey, some people don't have the need to actually commute on a scooter. You may not need the full suspension. Maybe you have a race team and you just need a pit bike or a pit scooter to go to and from the bathroom or something. Those are perfect for that. However, if you could only have one scooter that could do it all, this is probably the one to get. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the review. Make sure like and subscribe, and check out the channel for other reviews that we have, not just scooters. We got cars, we got travel, we have cooking, we got it all. See you in the next review.